folks, it's the Mediocre cover band guitar guy again. You might remember me from such episodes as I read a guy's Facebook post and it infuriated me so much that I posted a video on a rainy Sunday that went a little too far and called out pretty much everybody in Newfoundland and said some nasty shit. So I took that one down and figured I'd go about it a little bit differently. And redo another video. And tonight's program I went unplugged because this thing doesn't plug in at all. This is like really old. This thing's over 50 years old. Was my dad's. He showed me some chords and stuff on it when I was a kid and took it from there. Yes, he's responsible for all this that you're watching now, for the 5, maybe 6 people that watch these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of a part 2 to my last video here in Staying Humble. And move on to not just people one-upping people or just trying to make somebody feel like you're better than them. Because I use the example of, the kid in the guitar store playing riffs. He's been playing like 3 months and he's still learning. He's got a long way to go, but he's excited about it. The guy comes in who's making a living at playing music or gets paid to play music, comes in and starts wanking all these complicated riffs and sort of discourages the kid. Or anybody, anything in life that you do, you should always encourage people to be better, to do better, and to keep going and to be motivated. I think that's important. I think supporting people in anything they do and being happy, genuinely happy for somebody when good things happen for them, or they whether it's they learn how to play an instrument, they learn how to play something on an instrument, or they do something that they've always wanted to do or accomplish something. Be happy. It's like I said before, being kind doesn't cost anything. So what I'm going to get into today is sort of on a different but sort of the same topic of being humble and staying humble, is talking about venues and gigs and being too good for the gig. And I've always said you can never be too good for a gig, and that's sort of true. And you can't be too good for a venue, and that's sort of true. A gig is a gig, and they're all important, especially right now because a lot of people aren't playing. I've been lucky enough that a couple of weeks ago we managed to play both nights on a weekend. Some friends of mine have had a few gigs. The guys in Cripple Creek, guys in Trails End have played, and some other people are playing, and a lot of acoustic people are still in their gigs. So you really can't turn down gigs for the most part. There is an exception to this rule, and this goes out to you youngins who are starting out. We all had that one bar that we started out in where we cut our chops, and we kind of felt loyal to it for a while, but then you come to realize that you might outgrow that place because a venue can sort of make it hard for your band to get gigs in other places. So if you're playing a bar that has a bad reputation, you're not really going to get people wanting to come out there to see you. Even friends and family, it's kind of rough to get them out. So you got to be careful where you're playing, as opposed to being too good for a gig. I knew a guy one time who was savage because we didn't have a stage. We played on a floor, but we played to a full house and got paid decent money for it. But back to what I'm getting at here is that some places have a bad reputation, and if you play there, people don't want to come out and see you. So if you've got somebody who contacts you this day and age through social media or whatever, wondering how much you're going to charge them to play a wedding and talk about your set list with you and stuff, and they want to come out and see your band just to see what you're all about, they're not going to go to a place that has a bad reputation and somewhere where there's a lot of fighting, a lot of drugs, drunken bar owners or whatever. They will come out to a reputable place where they know they're not going to have any trouble with drunks and regulars and whatever. So there is an exception to that rule, but outside of that, if you're going to play somewhere that's willing to pay you decently, and it's a good venue, then you shouldn't feel like you're too good to play there. And I'm going to go into some part of my rant yesterday. Um, and I covered this in one of my earlier lessons. What you value yourself at. This determines, you know, what makes you too good or too whatever for a gig, or you're on your high horse and you don't want to play somewhere because it's not this place or that place, or once again, you don't have a stage. Um, the rant that I went on yesterday had to do with reading a status from somebody about this being a hobby for people and venues dictating what we get paid. And even though that's somewhat true, some people will say, this is what I pay. Sometimes it's not just the venue that has the issue. It's people that are willing to play for very little money. It's people that will go in and say, I'll play for this even though everybody else is playing for that if you just give me a chance. And that's no good, because if you're thinking that, well, if we get up in front of them, they'll give us more money. No, they won't. The better day never comes. The bigger payday never comes. So to keep everything positive and happy, keep on the up and up. Play places that are going to give you a chance to play and hone your chops. But you can outgrow those places, and then that's when you decide to move on. As for sticking a value on your band and yourself as a musician, if you're going to complain, I guess, about, well, I'm only getting $100 a person night, and you're in a 4-piece band, so your band's getting $400. If you feel that your band is worth more than that, maybe you shouldn't play those places. Maybe you should try somewhere else. Change your set list around and work at it a bit differently. Take a different angle, and then at least at the end of the day you can say, hey, you know what, we tried, it didn't work out. There's always different ways around it than blaming other people. So that's all I'm going to say about it, and I don't want to really mean any disrespect, but I'm speaking on behalf of myself, and if anybody else agrees with me, then that's fine. That, you know, that's it. You can't blame us because the bars aren't paying right now. That came from a crop of people before us. So once again, if you think you're worth a certain amount of money, then you need to stick to that, and that's what you play for, and that's how you value yourself. Because if not, then that's the value you stuck on yourself if it's a $400 night. So like I said, for all you youngins out there, keep your head up. Don't be too good for a gig. Don't think because you're playing at the Legion it's not a real gig. It is. If you're getting money and people like what you're doing, it's real. You're somewhat professional if you keep doing it over and over and over and over again, whether it's a semi sort of professional relationship. A lot of musicians that play in bands have day jobs, and that's it, because here in Newfoundland and Labrador right now, you're not going to make a living at music if you're playing in a cover band, and we all know that, because there's just simply not enough places to play. It's not there. But that's my rant, and that's what I was on to yesterday. So just if you know you're starting out, and for some of the older guys, whatever, just keep it on the level and only play for what you think you're worth, if that's how you feel. You're not wrong in thinking that. You know, you're not wrong in thinking that all the hard work you do at home, all the lugging gear you do, all the preparation you do, the work you do when you're on stage, enticing the crowd to have a good time, you're not wrong in thinking that you deserve more than what a lot of us are getting. But right now, that's the economic landscape. That's what we're stuck with, and until everybody starts supporting everybody and getting on board, then it's probably going to stay that way for a while. And let's hope after COVID-19 sort of falters away. I don't know what the new normal is going to bring for us, but hopefully it'll come back, around, and we'll start doing that again. Instead of competing for gigs, we'll help each other get gigs, because then that's good for everybody. So keep it on the level, and Anyway, I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna explain that song that I played in the beginning was a song I wrote when I was like 16. There's probably only one person in the world who's gonna catch on to what that song's about, and because it came from a band that me and my friends put together when we were teenagers called the Vicious Acords, and we sang about boobs, farts, and I think that's pretty much about it. All right, guys, keep watching those live streams, supporting everything you can, getting out to gigs if somebody you know is playing. Glenn Party's doing a great job again, as always, in supporting the local scene. He's doing the NL Live events. Share the shit out of that if you get a chance. And go out and support anybody who's playing if you can. And if you can't, that's fine too, man, because I understand it's scary times, and now they got us wearing masks, which is still cool. I don't mind if that's what they want me to do, and it's supposed to help make things get better eventually. Then that's what I'll do, because the quicker we can get back to resuming our everyday lives, the better it is for everybody. That's my politicalness for today, my politicking. And anyway, guys, like I said, stay safe, play music, listen to music, go see music. Music. Cheers.